Hi, I'm Matty T, and you're watching The Blues Connection. Today, our guest, Bill Watson of the Bill Watson Band. And Bill Watson just had this new banner made. Isn't it nice? You've been playing music for quite a few years. You've done a lot of performances, I know you personally. Tell me one of your favorite gig stories. Something that you have a good memory of.
Oh, yeah, a lot of good memories. I had a good bloody one, you know. At one time, we were
Blood cells.
Blood cells, right. We were doing a benefit for the Veterans Hospital, right? It was back in the early days. We had 80 something, early 80s. I don't remember. But we were going to entertain some of the veterans, you know, that were in the hospital, something like that. They had a great stage, big giant room, really nice. We went in setting up, kind of rushed, you know, like you always are when you're in your early 20s. You know, you're always late and everything like that. We were setting all this stuff up, and we actually had roadies
when
back
you're
in
learning
those days.
to manage your time.
Learning to manage time, right? Yeah. And anyway, so you know, so we have a lot of energetic fellows back then that wanted to help us out. You know? Not like now. You know, you gotta load your own gear, but they had set my amp up on the wrong side of the stage, and this amp was a I don't know if you ever played a Super Reaver, the big Super Reaver, the one that was like 160 watts. Maybe you remember what it's called, but it was tremendously heavy. And they put it on the wrong side of the stage.
You're talking about the Fender that was like a Super Reaver, but with 4 12-inch speakers, and it was like a twin, Super Twin?
Super Twin, yeah, Super Twin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I never played one.
Extremely heavy, extremely loud, 160 watts. It had like 8 6L6 tubes in it. Big, giant, heavy amplifier. Very clean. You could not get it to break up to save your life. But anyway, it was put up on the wrong side of the stage. So, you know, in my rush, you know, to get it over on the right side of the stage where I was going to play, I swung it over. Well, these things were extremely top heavy, and it started to fall. And this was a borrowed amp, mind you. A friend of mine loaned me the amp. So as it's falling, my first inclination is, oh my God, I got to catch this amplifier. Caught it. Well, I caught it just as my hand hit the floor. Bam! Popped my finger. My middle finger just busted it wide open. Blood, meat, everything. Everywhere. So set up. You know, we set up in.
Did you have a Band-Aid?
I had a Band-Aid. I put a Band-Aid on it. Played the gig. Blood everywhere, all up and down the neck. Yeah, as soon as the gig was over, I went downstairs and they, you know, 8 stitches to put it back together.
Ouch.
So I remember that gig. I will remember that gig until I die.
I have a blood story.
Still got the scar.
I had a show, and I get these split cuticles, and I know not like anything falling on me, but they're painful, and you know it's like having somebody poke you with a needle in the tip of your finger when you're trying to play guitar. It hurts. So I super glued it, which I do. Super glue it shut, and then you play your show. It hurts a little less, you know, and you can play your show. So I'm in the middle of the show, and the thing splits open, and it's gushing. And it's gushing all over my hand, all over the guitar. And people are going, oh my God. And I'm like, oh.
It's like going to a Kiss show.
It's going down my arm. We're just playing some blues here.
You're bleeding for your audience.
So, luckily I was a few blocks from my store at the time. Took a break, drove over there, bought some more, got the super glue from my store, glued the finger back up, came back in, finished the show.
John Wayne.
Tell me something about why do you play music? Why do you play music?
Well, it's a question I asked myself quite a few times. But we're, I can't stop. Why do you play? I mean, it's something, I mean, you grow up with it. It's part of your life. It becomes part of your being, you know, it's part of who you are after a while. I mean, I've played metal, I've played top 40, I've played all original music back in the big hair 80 days, you know, and I quit over and over, sold all the gear.
Did you wear spandex?
Oh yeah, yeah. Spandex, leather, the whole bit, yeah. You know, went through the whole gamut, you know, I mean, you know, like all guys, you know, down in LA, I mean, you couldn't be in LA, you know, during the late 70s and the 80s without being part of the, I mean, that's what was happening.
So in the late 70s and the early 80s, you were living in LA?
Yeah.
And what bands did you come across there? Maybe bands that weren't famous then that became famous. Maybe you did shows with some of them.
Well, there was a band called Exciter that later became the Boys. Eventually morphed into Dawkins. Van Halen was a local band, played at our sock hops in the high school. They were just a local kegger party band, playing cover tunes, and then went to the famous Longshoremen's Hall where they got signed by Gene Simmons and all that stuff. I was actually there. Got kicked out twice that night. Good times. Yeah, there was 3 big bands down there at that time. There was A La Carte, which I don't know what they ever happened to them, but Van Halen at the time, and then Exciter, which, like I said, became Dawkins. Don Dawkins was named the band at that time, but it was George Lynch and Mick Brown with Monty and the other guy. They became famous. Other than that, it was just a lot of rock and roll, a lot of heavy metal stuff like that back in those days. Everybody played.
Who's your favorite young player?
Nowadays, young player. Well, we talked about Gary Clark Jr. Really like him right now. He's kind of on our radar. Anyway, I don't wait and see kind of what happens with him. Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Who was Bill Watson? Where did you come from? Where were you born?
Huntington Park, California.
So you're a California
cruising
native.
Capital of the world in 1959.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean the end of the decade. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Well, let's just jump into it.
Remember it well.
What was your first guitar?
I believe my first electric guitar was a Tisco Del Rey from 30s.
Right. I can remember going back and shopping
Yeah.
in Gemco when I was a kid.
Yeah, thrifties.
And there would be guitars hanging by the
Exactly.
by the checkout stands. I don't know if that was the way it was in your town.
I think
but-
ours was like back next to the photo department. They had like a rack, a little spinning rack with 8 or 10 guitars on there. And I would go back and fondle them every day until I finally had enough money to buy one. It was like $30 or something. I don't know. It was a lot
Things
of
were
money
cheaper.
back then.
Things were cheaper then.
Yeah. First acoustic was like a Stella, like I said, way back. God, when I was like 5 or 6 years old when I got the first acoustic guitar, but I wasn't really big enough to play it. So later on, got the Tisco when I was about 12.
Did you have family support?
Always. My grandmother was a country western singer in her youth, so she was always very, very supportive. We had music in the house 24/7 from the time I can remember. My mom wasn't that old, so she brought Elvis and the Beatles into the house. And my grandmother had Conway Twitty and Johnny Cash and Jim Reeves and all that stuff, going from the other end. So I had...
Sounds like a country music background.
Oh, yeah, huge. Yeah, she was from Oklahoma, and it was country in the house all the time.
Buck Owens?
Well, of course. Melody Ranch, Buck Owens, the Buckaroos, all that good stuff.
Have you ever played country music?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I did a stint for a couple of years as a bass player in a country western band. But I find,
What was that band?
The Crossman Connection. Yeah,
I
remember them. You probably remember them well.
I do.
Good band, great harmonies. So I did that. But even though I do blues now, I think there's a little country in there. I do a little bit of rockabilly, a little bit of surf music, a little kind of spy music. But the country always kind of, or the southern aspect always kind of creeps in there somehow. At least that's what people tell me. I feel like sometimes I just want to break out and do a rousing country song every once in a while, just to shake them up.
So do you have a favorite guitar now that you play?
Yeah, I got this really neat '56 white Stratocaster.
Where did you get that,
vintage,
Bill?
At the Tweed Hut. Yeah, great guitar. Yeah, I wouldn't make it 2 weeks before I put
You got a
big
ding
old
in it?
big old ding in it.
I got the text.
Yeah, that was
Just of the ding. I'm like, what guitar is this?
I didn't
This
know what to
isn't
do.
me.
I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. Tried to put the chips back in. It didn't fit.
It doesn't work.
No, it didn't work at all. Oh well. First of many, I'm sure.
So what's your favorite, do you have a favorite model?
Stratocaster, Les Paul. Yeah, I'm a Strat Les Paul kind of guy, pretty much.
You're a Strat Les Paul kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah. I straddle the fence.
Most guys are either Strat guys or Les Paul guys, but
No,
you're a
no.
Strat Les Paul kind of guy.
I've always had Les Pauls. My first big item was a Les Paul. Was a 76 Deluxe, Cherry Sunburst Deluxe. Paid $300 for it back in North Carolina when I was in the Army. That was my first, big Les Paul real guitar. I was really thrilled with that.
Did you play music when you were in the Army?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Used to go down to the rec center and hook up with whoever was there, and play bass or play guitar or do whatever. Had a lot of really cool dudes down there that could really play. Showed me a lot. Learned how to do funk, do southern rock, a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit of that. Yeah, you never knew what you were going to get. It's like a jam session.
Hi, you're back with Blues Connection. I'm Matty T, and I'm with my friend Bill Watson here. And today we're talking to Bill about different aspects of his musical career. He has a new band called the Bill Watson Band, and I've been kind of picking his brain to see what makes Bill Watson tick. Where's he from? What does he do? What does he like? What does he eat for breakfast? What's your favorite breakfast, Bill?
Eggs.
Thank you.
Mix it up,
Scramble.
Fried, little chorizo, maybe a burrito,
Okay. You like to cook.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I love to cook. Love to barbecue.
Do you eat before you play?
Never. I don't.
You don't eat before you play?
No. At least, hours before. I don't.
Do you drink before you play?
Always. But less and less.
Does it help you with your nerves?
Got a 12
Do you have nerve issues? Do you ever get nervous?
Used to getting, not so much anymore. No, because I've got my little ritual now where I just warm up my voice, play my guitar, try to warm up as much as possible, as much as time allows, before start for downbeat, and get up, get it on.
So you always make sure that you get to your gig early and set your gear up, and that you're prepared, that you have time to warm up, and you don't have to just jump up on stage after you've dealt with all the problems of setting your gear.
No,
Because you
most
probably have roadies.
Oh, yeah, yes. None. No, I haul my own gear, I set it up, I do the sound, I do everything. I do the booking, and everything.
You find that satisfying?
It's good. It's as good as you want it to be. It's like anything, any kind of small business or anything that you have, right? You get out of it what you put into it. So, you put a lot of effort into it, you get a lot back.
Do you like music?
I love music. I do. I love music.
Do you listen to music?
Yes. Quite a bit.
Do you watch videos?
I do.
Are you watching the guitar players when you're watching those videos, or are you just listening basically to the music?
No, I watch the guitar players. I'm a critical listener, like most musicians. I'm watching. I'm trying to steal everything I can get.
It's photocopying, actually.
Well, whatever.
Because they still have it.
It's
Now you have it.
loose interpretation.
What would your life be like if you didn't have music in it?
I'd probably be rich and famous.
Are you saying it's a curse?
It's work. It's work. It's work, and
It's a calling.
I don't know if it's a calling. If it was a calling, I'd be knocking on doors somewhere.
So you ain't working at it that hard.
Yeah. No, it's a passion.
What are your plans? Where do you see yourself with the Bill Watson Band in, say, 2 years, in 5 years?
Oh, well, right now what I'm working on is putting together pieces for the CD that will be forthcoming. Getting out and doing a lot more gigs than what I'm doing right now. Things are a little slow right now, but picking up, fan base is building, I'm getting a lot of hits, I'm getting a lot of interest, and I see good things. It's kind of on a roll.
Let me ask you,
really kind of cool.
what have you learned that you could advise somebody? Like, what's something you've done recently trying to promote your band, trying to make your band more successful, that you would recommend people not do? Have you made any mistakes?
Oh, yeah, mistakes. You know, I mean, you got to play what you love. Decide what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to be. That's what I think. You really have to have a kind of an image and projection of what you really want out of your band, where you want your music to go, and then drive towards that. Because otherwise, you're taking this scattergun approach, and you're kind of all spread out everywhere. It's not as effective.
So focus.
Focus, definitely. Focus is the secret.
You mean like style?
Style, image, your intent. Where do you want to be? Pick a goal and then go. Really have that.
That's good advice. Picking a goal and then
that's the
heading
best
in
way
that
to get
direction.
there. It's like you got to have a map where you want to go, or you'll never get there. So it's age-old advice, but it is true. The older you get, the more you realize how true it is, because otherwise you're just kind of spinning around in
The
circles.
old saying, "Those who fail to plan to fail."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Good
it's true.
advice.
It is true.
What if you discovered that maybe you came upon it and you realize it's, well, you just told me, didn't you?
But I left out the one, shameless self-promotion.
Shameless
self-promotion goes a long, long way. Don't be shy. You got to put your face out there.
Do you find that when you're shamelessly self-promoting, people think that you're bragging?
Well, maybe so, but it's kind of like a train wreck. You got to look. So
Okay.
that's when I get the most hits. The more I promote, the more hits I get. On Reverb
online.
Nation.
Reverb Nation.
That's where I'm at.
And you can find Bill Watson Band on Reverb
On
Nation.
Reverb Nation,
Just
on
type
Facebook.
in the Bill Watson Band.
Bill Watson
Is it
Band.
the Bill Watson Band or just Bill Watson?
Bill Watson Band.
No, the.
Just Bill Watson Band,
Okay.
Reverb Nation. All the gigs, all the latest information and blogs are on there.
Are you blogging?
A little. When I get more hits, I'll blog more.
What is Reverb Nation?
Reverb Nation is a shameless self-promotion site where you can put your videos and songs and your gigs and
Shamelessly self-promoting.
shamelessly self-promote to your heart's content. And it's a wonderful thing where you can direct promoters and people that are looking to hire bands can go on there and find out everything they need to know about you. Bios, history.
Are you any good, Bill Watson?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short little break, and we're going to grab some guitars. We're going to be back, and we're going to get Bill Watson to show some guitar licks, some blues guitar licks, and see what he's got going on.